Hi everyone, I'm Noreen and welcome to my kitchen, and today I have a special episode for you. We're going to be doing a collaboration with the Vegetarian Baker channel. We're going to be doing pie inspired cookies, and today I'm going to be doing an apple pie inspired cookie, and we're going to be sharing how to make these apple pie Rugelach. And they are really delicious and I know you're going to love them. So let's go along and see how these all come together. We're going to go over all of the ingredients, but before we do, I want to just mention that this video today is a collaboration for National Cookie Month with my friend from the Vegetarian Baker channel. If you're not familiar with him, I will leave links below where you can go and be sure to subscribe to his channel. He is really awesome and a lot of fun. He does a lot of really cool recipes. I just like to see how he does all sorts of things. I'm doing an apple pie rugelach, which is a cookie. It's a little Jewish style cookie or Israeli cookie, whatever you want to call that. So the dough is going to start off with a brick of cream cheese, 2 sticks of butter. This is unsalted butter. You can use salted butter, it doesn't matter. A cup of sour cream, 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a quarter of a cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. The filling is approximately 2 cups of grated apples. You can use whatever eating apple you like. I used 3 medium-sized apples and I peeled them and I grated them on the box grater, and I did toss them in a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of golden raisins, a 1/2 cup of sugar, a quarter of a cup or a 1/2 stick of butter, and then this is 2 teaspoons of apple pie spice. I'm going to break all this. I'm going to go get the mixer and then we'll start making the dough. But what we have in here is our cream cheese and our butter, and I have the mixer fitted with the cookie paddles, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to beat those 2 things together. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our sour cream. Now this, and when I say this is a very short dough, I am not joking. This is a very short dough. It reminds me a lot of my keefly dough that I do at Christmas time. It doesn't have any eggs in it. It only relies on, it only relies on the fat to hold everything together. So we're going to give this a little bit of a whirl. Add our sugar and our vanilla extract. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go add all of our flour. That's 4.5 cups of flour at one time. And then I'm going to want to put the lid on for this. Okay. Now what we're going to do is grab some plastic wrap, and I'll be right back, and we'll put this on the plastic wrap and wrap it up to put it in the refrigerator. I'm just going to go ahead and tip this dough out. Okay, this is just going to go in the fridge for about a ½ an hour just so that we could get all of those little pieces of flour to get absorbed by the butter and the cream cheese and the sour cream. And then we're going to bring it out and we're going to make our cookies. But while this is chilling, we're going to go over to the stove and work on the filling. Chilling, filling. Okay, let's go. All right, we've melted our butter. We're over at the stove and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our filling. So all of my apples are going to go right in this pan. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to plop the apples in here, saute them in the butter. I am going to go ahead and add the golden raisins. You can leave those out. That is optional, but I think they're going to be delicious. Okay, I'm going to add my sugar. And my apple pie spice seasoning. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this saute, and I'm going to let the water cook out of it, and it's going to intensify and reduce. But I'll bring you back when it's time to just turn it off so you can see what it looks like. All right, It's been about 10 minutes and I've had this over medium-high heat. My burner goes from a low or a 1 to a high, which is a 9. And I have my burner on a 7. So I literally stirred it. We turned off the camera. I walked away from it. I just came back to it. And what you want is, you don't want any liquid in the bottom of this pan. You see how it's starting to kind of bind together with itself, and there's no liquid. And if you kind of look here, it's starting to sizzle like it's gonna caramelize. And now we're gonna just remove it from the heat. I'm gonna turn off the heat. We're gonna set it aside, and then we're gonna go ahead and we will build our apple pie rugelach, and we'll bake it off. It'll be great. All right, we have allowed our dough to sit in the refrigerator. It's been a little over half an hour. Our filling is all ready, but now we're gonna proceed with making some of these Rugelach cookies. Now I'm gonna cut this dough into 4 pieces, as evenly as you can. It's not like imperative that they all be exactly the same, but I'm gonna keep one out, and I'm gonna put the other 3 away for later. Now, I have my board with a little bit of bench flour. And what I want to do is just kind of mash this into a circle, okay? And make sure you have lots of bench flour, because it's going to help the dough to spread out a lot more easily. What you want to do is you want to roll this into a circle. All right, now we're going to cut this into wedges, and the easiest way to do that is to cut it in half one way and half the other way, and then you're going to determine how many rugelach you want to make this into. So we're going to get 1 dozen out of 1 circle of dough. Now we're just going to go ahead and put some of this apple filling. You don't need a lot. Right on in there on each wedge. Check yourself and see if some have need of a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a baking sheet, line it with a parchment paper. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start rolling these up. All right, I've gone ahead and I've rolled up all but the last 3 of our first dozen of our apple pie rugelach, and really it's so simple. You make those crescents in a tube, right? You just gently wrap this up. Make sure you get all that filling tucked in. Make sure you've got your point down, and then stick it on your tray. Simple. We'll do it again. And you know what? If you don't have to curve them, like a crescent. It's up to you. Sometimes it's just easier to just rest them on the tray. Just like that. Then, the last thing we're gonna do, I have a little egg wash here, and this is just 1 egg beaten with a tablespoon of water, and we're gonna brush that on there. And I have a little crystal sugar. This is gonna give it a little crunch. It's gonna make it look pretty, and it's gonna add a little extra sweetness. And it occurs to me that on this particular batch, I did not add the honey, but that's all right. You know what? We don't need to. You can go ahead and drizzle that on before you roll them up, but I think these are gonna be plenty sweet. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. We're gonna pop these in there for approximately 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're golden brown and a little bit puffed. I'll bring you back when it's time to take them out of the oven. This is my second batch, and when they are lightly browned, this is going to take approximately 15 to 18 minutes, and it's a personal preference. I like mine to be very lightly browned, and you'll be able to tell when they're done. And then if you flip one over gently, you'll see the bottom is browned, and that's exactly where you want it to be. Let these cool on the pan for 5 minutes before removing them to a cooling rack, and let them cool completely before enjoying. I'll bring you back in just a few minutes, and I'll show you what they look like, all presented on a beautiful platter. Well, there you have it. These have cooled, and we went and we ate supper, and now we're going to finish up our video by sharing these delicious apple pie rugelach. We already tasted them. I'll go ahead and open one up for you so you see what it looks like on the inside. all those shredded apples and that beautiful flaky crust. It's so delicious. It just melts in your mouth. You are gonna love them, I promise. They're so delicious. And then make sure you go over and check out the Vegetarian Baker, where he's going to be making a pumpkin pie inspired cookie today. And I know you're going to love his as well. He is so much fun. And if you don't know about his channel, I'm going to leave all of the information down below in the information box so you can go ahead and check him out and see what he's all about. I know you're going to love these apple pie style Rugelach. They're so easy to make. Now, I did want to mention, I only used half the dough today because the filling that I made only filled 2 dozen cookies. The rest of the dough I'm going to freeze, and then I'm going to make another version of Rugelach later on down the road, maybe for the holidays or something like that. You can freeze the dough, make sure you wrap it tightly in plastic, then put it inside of a plastic bag, freezer bag, and then you can stick it in your freezer, but make sure that you use it within 6 months. So that's how you do it. So I want to thank you for joining me today and watch how I make these apple pie Rugelach. If you like today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you're not already, be sure and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we present all the time right here on our YouTube channel and straight from our kitchen. I hope you give these a try, and I hope that you love them. And until next time, I'll see ya. And I'm going to use my hand mixer. I'm going to go ahead and pour the heavy cream. The coffee. And the coffee liqueur flavored syrup. So this Torani syrup tastes similar to Collab.